Welcome to the DocuVerse, where real history comes alive like a story you can feel. Tonight, I'm not going to give you dates and definitions. I'm going to tell you a true story. A story of ordinary people, caught in extraordinary times. A story of fear, power, and a revolution that was never as simple as it seemed. It begins in the 1760s. In a busy port city called Boston. Ships fill the harbor. Merchants shout across crowded streets. Life moves with purpose. Among the crowd is a young apprentice named Samuel. He's not famous, not powerful, just someone trying to build a future. To him, the world feels stable. After all, he lives under the protection of the mighty British Empire. Trade is strong, work is steady, life makes sense. But slowly, something begins to change. At first, it's just whispers. New taxes, new laws, new rules from a distant government across the ocean. Samuel hears his father arguing late at night. They're taking too much control, his father says. But they've always ruled us, his mother replies quietly. And that's the problem. For the first time, people are starting to question it. Weeks turn into months. The streets feel different now. British soldiers stand on corners, watching everything. Their red coats are a constant reminder of power. Some people feel safer, others feel watched. One evening, Samuel meets his friend Thomas. They've grown up together, shared dreams, shared struggles. But tonight, something feels off. I think we should stay loyal to Britain, Thomas says. Samuel frowns. After everything they're doing, Thomas shakes his head. You don't understand. Without them, everything could fall apart. Samuel doesn't respond, because deep down, he's not sure who's right. And that's when he realizes. This isn't just a fight against an empire. It's a division between people. Friends, families, neighbors. Then comes a night no one will forget. Snow falls softly over Boston. The air is tense. A crowd gathers near a group of British soldiers. Voices rise. Insults are thrown. Samuel stands at the edge, watching. He feels it. Something is about to happen. No one knows who starts it. A shove, a shout, and then, a gunshot. Chaos explodes. People scream. Soldiers panic. More shots are fired. When it ends, 5 men lie on the ground. Still, silent. This moment will be remembered as the Boston Massacre. But Samuel doesn't see history. He sees confusion, fear, and something even more dangerous. How quickly the truth begins to change. Because the next morning, the story spreads. But it's not the same story Samuel witnessed. It's louder, angrier, more powerful. Newspapers turn the katana into a symbol. Not just of death, but of oppression. And suddenly, everything shifts. Fear becomes anger, and anger becomes action. 3 years later, Samuel stands by the harbor again. But now, he's different. The city is different. The tension has grown into something unstoppable. That night, men move through the shadows. Quiet, determined. They board ships in the harbor. Break open crates. And one by one, they throw tea into the water. The Boston Tea Party. It looks like protest. But to Samuel, it feels like a point of no return. There is no going back now. Time passes. Meetings happen in secret. Voices grow louder. Leaders begin to emerge. Men like George Washington, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. History will remember them as heroes. But in this moment, they are taking a risk. Because if they fail, they will be executed as traitors. And then, war begins. Not a glorious war, a desperate one. Samuel becomes a soldier, not because he wants to, but because he feels he has no choice. He marches with others like him. Farmers, workers, boys who barely understand what they're fighting for. Gunfire fills the air. Smoke covers the sky. Friends fall beside him. Days blur into nights. Hope fades. Then comes winter. Valley Forge. The cold is unbearable. Samuel has no proper shoes. His feet bleed into the snow. Food is scarce. Some men starve. Others freeze. Disease spreads. Every day feels like the end. And yet, they stay. Because turning back is no longer an option. Months pass. Years pass. The war continues. For a long time, it feels like they will lose. Until something unexpected happens. Across the ocean, another nation decides to act. France. Ships arrive. Soldiers join the fight. And slowly, everything begins to change. Finally, the war reaches its end. Battle of Yorktown. The British surrender. The colonies win. The revolution is over. Samuel survives. But he is not the same person. None of them are. Because victory comes with a cost. Homes destroyed. Families divided. Friends lost forever. And then, a new nation is born. Through the Declaration of Independence. It speaks of freedom, equality, rights. But Samuel begins to notice something. That freedom is incomplete. Not everyone is free. Not everyone is equal. And the story is not as perfect as it seems. Years later, Samuel stands once again at the harbor. The same place where everything changed. But now, it feels different. Quieter. He looks out at the water and wonders. Was it all worth it? The sacrifice. The loss. The division. He doesn't have an answer. Maybe no one ever will. Because the American Revolution was not just a story of freedom. It was a story of people. Of choices. Of consequences. Of a nation being born, in both hope and conflict. And that is the truth hidden beneath history. And here, on the DocuVerse, that's what we uncover. Not just what happened, but what it meant. If this story made you think, if it made you feel something deeper, then you're exactly where you belong. Subscribe to the DocuVerse for more real stories that history left behind. Because this is just the beginning. Thank you for watching the DocuVerse.